Alex here with a high conflict child custody video on blame the victim. This video is just going to talk about a problem that I have noticed when it comes to the mentality that many of the judges and also the attorneys have towards blaming. And it's not actually, okay, we 100% identified the victim and we're going to blame them. That's not actually what happens. And I should also go ahead and state that the rare cases that involve low conflict, they don't really, this video doesn't apply to them at all. It's just not at all within this realm. And I'm also going to go ahead and add a couple of disclaimers. I'm going to talk about something that I think happens. It doesn't mean that I agree with it, and it doesn't mean that I want it to be that way or that I think it's okay. None of that is true. I'm just going to explain something that I've noticed to let you guys know about it. And I don't know, do with it what you will. I'm not sure there's much that can be done about it, because from the perspective of the judges and attorneys, I guess in a way it makes sense, as sad as it is. So there are a lot of cases that involve, a lot of high conflict child custody cases that involve this mentality of, well, you had a child with that person. Well, you married that person, and so you are to blame as well. You shouldn't have created a child with this person who is, and then they go through this giant list of things you've alleged. I don't know, I'm sexually abusive, a harasser, a stalker, violent, beats the children, uses drugs. If you knew all of these things, why did you create a child with them, and why did you, or why did you marry them? That is a real thought that I think frequently crosses the minds of these judges and attorneys in these cases. They're not going to tell you that to your face. Maybe on a rare occasion they might, when they're really frustrated and just can't take it anymore, trying to help you. But this is a thing. These cases get really contentious. There are severe delays. For months and months you'll be waiting to get relief from the court, and I don't think many of them feel bad about it, because it's sort of, yeah, okay, this child is suffering, but it's your fault too. You should have been more careful about who you picked to have a child with, or you should have been more careful about who you picked to marry. Now, obviously, that doesn't make any sense, because the child is suffering for the parents' mistakes. And as far as the law is concerned, a child needs the protection of the law and the courts, regardless of the mistakes that their parents have made. That's why we have, statutes that allow a court to utterly and totally deprive a parent of their parental rights. In other words, totally erase that parent from the child's life and put the child with another family. Because, officially, on its face, the law is there to do whatever is best for the children, and there is no authority that supports a judge saying we're going to allow this child to continue to suffer because one of their parents made a mistake as to who, they had a child with. I'm not sure that there's anything else I can really say about this topic. It's just one of those sad realities. And I can see the point from the perspective of a judge or an attorney who is just sick and tired of it and just can't take it anymore. Just because I can see the point doesn't mean that I agree with it. And in my situation, I have something to blame myself with getting into a relationship with my ex. And I talk about why that happened in my video, Self-Love Deficit Disorder. And I have a feeling that a lot of people make mistakes like this and then grow up. They create a child and they see their child is suffering, and they grow up after several years, sometimes really quickly, sometimes within months. They grow up and they realize what a horrible mistake they made. They probably never imagined it could be as bad as they thought it would be. And of course, now that they've created a little miniature version of themselves that they love with all their heart, all of a sudden now they have the ability that they didn't have before to leave that relationship. And of course, their protective capacity kicks in, and now they want to protect the child and not co-parent with that person, but actually cut them out of the child's lives because of all those reasons that I explained earlier: addictions, violence, domestic violence, abuse, etc., etc. So this is just a thing that I really wanted to let my viewers know, and it's not one of those things that I think there's any way to solve, honestly. I guess in some horrible way, we just have to accept the fact that we're going to have to go through this process. We don't have to accept the fact that our child is going to pointlessly suffer for our mistakes, but in a way, we do have to accept the fact that that we as parents are going to have to go through this grueling struggle, this legal struggle for years. Like in my case, it was for 8 years to protect our child. So I mean, maybe in a way this video ended up being a little bit more insightful than I originally anticipated when I started it. We can tell ourselves that it's not okay for our child to suffer just because of our mistakes and who we chose to create them with, but it is our responsibility and our obligation to personally endure the struggle, the stress of the American legal system or whatever country you're in, because of our mistake. And you know, that's one of the things that's great about being mature and having, you know, your head on your shoulders, is typically you'll be able to better make a choice as to your partner. And hopefully, if you do split up, you'll have a constructive co-parenting relationship with that person, as opposed to a situation like the one that many of us on this channel went through, where we were just not mature and we created a child with somebody who just wasn't healthy. And we just kind of have to, now that we've grown up, we're going to have to sort of own up to that. And that's just going to involve several years of litigation and stress, and it's going to suck so bad. But I think I'm pretty happy with the I guess the conclusion that I just kind of wandered into. I really didn't script that. I kind of had an epiphany 2/3 of the way through the video. So if anyone has any questions or comments, definitely post them down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.